This is Baruch here, Tikkun Elevator Kolau. This is the last shir that we're giving here in the night Seder. This is Rosh Chodesh Shevat. Shevat is Aquarius. So one of the things that we know about astrology is that when we look at it, or the astrological signs, is that if you look at the year as it goes along, you will see that there are differentiations. And although when we speak, say, for example, maybe my rising sign is Aquarius, the rising sign doesn't have to do with your sun. So right now the sun is moving into Aquarius. But by looking at the sun, this is supposed to be the Monday. This is, I think March is the windy month. But this is an air sign. This is a time of communication. This is the time of getting out and communicating and speaking to people and getting involved in all different kinds of communications. So this is Aquarius. It's also Shvat. This is the month when the water starts going on Tu B'Shvat, when this water starts rising in the plants. So there's a lot going on here. Let's take a look at the Zohar. This is Parshas Pinchas, and we'll learn a little Zohar today. So, but first, there was a little bit from yesterday that was left over before we get into the next piece, and let me just read it. It says Pinchas do Yitzchak. So we said before that the gematria is the same if you add a yud into the name Pinchas. Become Pinchas v'dayin dina. Yitzchak's the concept of severe din, punishment. And Pinchas stood and he proclaimed the din. V'slavash begevurah tekifa equals smaller. He clothed himself in the most powerful dinim, which represents the side of the left. Begin kach, and for this reason, Zohar liyamino, he was able to bring about the right side. Hacha iskalol smaller biyamina, and you see that what happened was a yichud took place here, where the left was incorporated into the right. Now let's just read the matuk because I want to hear what he says. And it says, Pinchas hainu Yitzchak. So that's the first thing he wants to say, that they're the same. Since we understand that Yitzchak is powerful din, so therefore we understand that Pinchas is that too. All of the power here came to the Gevuros in Malchus. Now we talked about this before, is the Gevurah Malchus, I get in some way is feeds into the Chochmah of Malchus, which is where those eyes were located. Ba'amas Pinchas v'dan esadin shal Zimri b'Kazbi, and he stood, as you know the pasuk, and you know what's going on over there, and he judged the judgment that had to do with Zimri and Kazbi. V'nislavish b'Gevurah chazaka shehi hasmol, and what did he do? He clothed himself, so to speak, in this tremendous, powerful Gevurah, which is din, which is the side of the left. So that because of the fact that he did this and carried out the din, he was able to get to the place of the Kahuna Gedola. Now you understand the concept of Kohen is a concept of chesed, not din. So somehow, by being able to stand up and bring this tremendous amount of Gevurah in, he was nechlal asmol b'yomim. So he therefore, as doing this, because if he took his place as a Kohen, we'll explain a little bit, he was able to make a yichud from the left side and the right side. But that he was able to incorporate it and nullify the din shebeyitzchak, the chesed shebeyomin, with the chesed, the kindness that's in the other one. So he says, the concept of Rizal, ki Yitzchak is galgal b'Pinchas, that actually there is a gilgul that took place, is that the neshama of Yitzchak went into Pinchas. V'Esav nizgalgal b'Zimri, and Esau, one of his sons, he was reincarnated into Zimri. Levisha Esau koyed sayid b'fiv, because he was a liar or a trickster with his mouth. V'rimachas Yitzchak, and he was able to fool Yitzchak. L'chein achshav Nisakna mimeno Pinchas. So here, therefore, from here, there's a tikkun that takes place in Pinchas. Came Chazer Limidaso Rishona Znus, because he came back to his original level, which is a level of Znus, which is the level of Zimri, Cosby. Pinchas Shehu Gilgul Yitzchak. So therefore, it's as if Yitzchak killed his son Esau. Why? As this goes on a little bit of what we may have heard in the earlier shiurim today. There's a lot going on that we really don't understand. So here we see that the Zohar is telling us that this Gilgul of Esau wound up in Zimri, and the Gilgul of his father wound up in Pinchas, and that's how that worked out. Now let's see a little bit more of the Zohar. This is a new Zohar now. The Zohar says, Heshiv as Chamasi, he turned back my anger. My Heshiv as Chamasi, what does it mean that he turned back my anger? He says, Ala Ilan Inan Tlas Bamunin de Gehenna, but this is really talking about the three angels that are appointed over Gehenna. Mashchis, one's called Mashchis, which has been destruction, destroyer. Af, anger, and Chema is really worse anger. Begin the Choma Hahu Chema. Now, this is a play on words, but let's see how it goes. That he saw that anger. The Haver of the Pasha, the Ismashat Masitra, the Yitzchak that came out, extended out, poured out the side of Yitzchak. Ma'avid, what did he do? Islavesh Ihu Yitzchak. He clothed himself in Yitzchak. V'achid Bahahu Chema, and he took a hold of that tremendous anger that's found in the Gevurah of Yitzchak. Command the Achi Bechadre, like a person who grabbed a hold or joined himself with his friend. V'aziv Le La'achro, and he turned him backwards. Now, of course, this needs a little explanation, and let's hear what the Mata Kadadash says. Masha Kosev, it says like this: Heshiv as Chamasi, that one. Kolomar Lo Omer Heshiv as Kasi, O Charon Api. There are other words for anger. One word is Kas, the other one is Charon Af. So why didn't he use those words? Begin the Chama Hachu Chema. The V Shepinchas. Raw as Chema Haki Shuhu Hamashkis HaYotzer Godel Ben Shlosha HaMamunim. So now he said, because what happened is that Pinchas saw this angel that stands over Gehenna, which is called the Mashchis. The Mashchis is the ultimate destroyer. This is the biggest of the bad angels. Min Shlosha HaMamunim, the Chavalas HaOilen that are appointed to really hurt the world, to wound the world. Shehu Choyim is Pashit ala Olam, because he would spread out into the world. V'kochol Nimshak beGevurah Dezah. Where's the strength from this come from? The strength comes from the Gevurah of Zeranpin, which is in Kedusha. Shepoel is din al Yedei Elo Amashchisim, and the Zeranpin, which is Kadav, but leads to these because the din is to be applied. That's where it comes from. It eventually winds up in the hands of these mamunim. Well, the worst of them is the mashkis. Ma'asa Pinchas. So then, what did Pinchas do? Because there's a tremendous amount of badness here. Unislavish bebedregas hagavur shal Yitzchak. He clothed himself. I don't know how you do this, but just imagine putting on the mantle of the Gevurah of Yitzchak, which is real strict anger. And this is interesting because he's a Kohen, and although he might have been a lower light as a Kohen, but he's a Kohen, and Kohen stands for kindness. And what did he do? He took the Gevurah, and he used it to be able to return the Gevurah to where it belongs. So just we understand it's in the hands of Gevurah, so to speak, to bring din into our world. It also has the power, the Gevurah has the power to bring it back. It's very interesting. The Gevurah is a light that goes from the bottom to the top. It's a percolating light. I don't know exactly how to work with that, but that's a fact. And he grabs a hold of this tremendous anger that's there. Like a person who holds on to his friend. And he turns him around. that makes him change his way and go backwards. Okay, this is the Zohar. This is the ninth Zohar here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. Today is the first day of Rosh Chodesh, Shevat.